Like after film school, I was like, my dream is to be a broadcaster. I need to get on air.
Why? What was it about getting on air?
I love being behind the mic.
I know.
I love being behind the mic. This right now, it's like this is heroin.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Every
I love
time I have a session
Yeah.
with someone, I love it. It's like it's the first fucking time every time.
If I knew the shit that you knew about tech, I would, and I had a setup like this, I would be talking to myself.
You're just staring at the wall.
Yeah. Okay, really comfortable.
Yeah,
Really comfortable.
it has to be.
Sick.
You can't talk for an hour and not be comfortable.
For sure. That makes sense. Totally. I'm comfortable.
Jenny,
Steph.
thank you for being here, man. That's it. That's how we start.
This is, we saw each other in the beer line
Yes.
at Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, how are you? I think
How many-
I was already deaf, I think. I had like 4 beers.
That show, man, it was fantastic. One.
Yeah.
But just the amount of beers that were flowing on that night was a terrible morning the next day.
Yeah, I was okay. But I don't think you have a choice when you go to a show that's like of that caliber.
Oh yeah.
You just have to have beers all the time.
Yeah. There was not I think 1 second in that show that there wasn't a beer in our hands.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah. No, man. And it was funny. I don't remember how we just ran into each other and I was like, you got to come on the show. That's it. You
Well,
gotta
what
come on the
happened was
show."
I was like, "Oh, Steph," I was like, "Nice to see you." I'm like, "I don't really know if you remember me."
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, "I'm Nick Fiasche's son," and you're like, "Wow, fuck, I know who you are."
That was a few beers in me.
Yeah.
Fuck, I know you
I was
are.
like, "Okay, no, I just wanted to say what's up," And then you're like, "Go on the podcast," and here we are.
And it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
perfect. And then
Yeah.
it was just through the show. I think we were texting each
You
other.
were messaging me, be like, "This is amazing." I don't know why that's your voice, but I do it for everyone.
I was like, man, I sound so intense right now.
Exclamation points everywhere.
You're like, if I don't come on this show, he's gonna kick my
He's
ass.
actually gonna kill me. Yeah, yeah.
But there was that, and then we ended up going to Raw. But I didn't. You were Monday
Oh,
Night
I was
Raw.
at Raw. That's a new thing for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My friend Alex, one of my best friends, she's a huge fucking wrestling fan, and she was like, "If you want to be my best friend," she sounds the same as you. Yeah.
She's intense too.
You want to be my best friend? You have to come to Raw. I was like, all right, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, dude, I hadn't watched wrestling, I think since like WrestleMania, like 12, or something like that. So it had been a long time that I hadn't watched like any.
What
sort
year
of,
was that? I don't even know.
I don't know. Like let's say I don't know if like 2000 was tops. Like I
you.
feel like that 2000, maybe 2 was the last time I even considered wrestling. It was a huge
I
wrestling
never
fan.
in my
I know.
life. She was just like, watch this. I was like, cool. But I think for me, it's more. I love live like sporting events. It's a totally different vibe. If you're there for wrestling in person than if you're watching on TV. You know what I mean?
Fucking
I would never
crazy.
watch it on TV.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. It was WrestleMania 40 that just recently happened, and my buddy calls me and he's like, "You want to watch WrestleMania?"
Yeah.
And we used to be both of us wrestling psychopaths.
Yeah.
And when we were younger, and I'm like, WrestleMania.
That's still a thing.
I'm like, fucking, who cares? Like, it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, this is WrestleMania 40. You have to watch this.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So one night I'm at home and I'm like, I was sick actually. I said, fuck it, let me put on WrestleMania. I'm like, this is fantastic. Oh my God, how come I haven't watched WrestleMania? It's okay, the phone's ringing.
Yeah, it's ringing. I think it's my father actually. Oh no, it's something from Massachusetts. It's calling me.
Yeah,
No idea.
you want a boat or something.
Yeah, I guess it's that. Yeah.
And then boom, like it just reopened like wrestling all of a sudden.
So now you're back into it full force.
I know from full force,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm not like.
But you got
peaking.
you got like what they call the storylines.
Yeah, I got like the
and all
basic
that.
storyline. So I'll watch
Okay.
like the pay-per-views now, but I'm
Gotcha.
not gonna
The
watch the
events.
Raws.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
okay.
like Raw was in town. Okay, let's go watch
Yeah.
Raw. But enough about wrestling. Enough about that.
Yeah.
What are you up to, man?
What am I up to? It's a great question. I just did like a run of shows with Rashid Badouri.
I saw.
That was a lot of fun.
So what are you doing exactly?
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's why it's working.
Yeah, that's why it works. No, I have a day job that I love.
Yeah.
And my side hustle, my passion is Snob Media.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So Snob Media started off as like I used to review movies.
Yeah.
And then I slowly was like, this is annoying and I don't want to do this and I want to post shit for myself.
So okay, let's start back. Okay, so you were reviewing movies. What made you even want to start doing that in the first place?
I've been a movie junkie all my life.
Okay.
Since I was a kid, music movie junkie. Then slowly it came comedy junkie. But yeah, so I started reviewing movies when I was like in high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just random shit. People would like come to me and be like, "Did you see that movie?" And I'd be like, "Yeah" or "No," and then I would just tell them to go see it or not. I
So
don't know.
yeah, so people were coming to you just saying,
Yeah.
"Yo, Johnny, tell me if I should go watch this movie."
Yeah,
in
I
high
was this
school.
like loser movie geek, and then I don't know, and then I guess in CJEP I studied film at Dawson.
Okay.
Hated it.
Why?
I don't know. Actually I started off at Champlain. Hated that more than anything.
Why?
I
I never
think
even considered Champlain as a college. Like, not like it doesn't, but it never crossed my mind when I was making my selections. It was
Right.
like Vanier, Dawson, Marianopolis, maybe, or whatever it was.
Interesting. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Vincent Massey.
Okay, I went to Laurier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Champlain was the choice because a lot of my friends were going there.
Ah, okay.
But also my sister studied film there.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna get keep it going,
Yeah, the family lineage.
Yeah, and then after I've purposely failed the first semester because I
Okay.
wanted to I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
You said no. I'm gonna
said-
fail it versus just.
Just no. I went to class and then I just failed it.
No, I didn't plan to fail.
I just failed. Yeah, I was like, this is my heart's not in it.
Yeah.
I never really like. I was always good in school, but I never liked school.
Yeah.
You know what?
I feel you.
I don't know. I always did fine, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going to Dawson to study in film, but I did film theory instead of actual on like
What's
hands-on.
film theory?
They taught you how to like watch movies and how to
Okay.
critique film.
Okay.
And I took a screenwriting class where I wrote a screenplay and like all this. So that was more fun. Did I enjoy it? I guess.
Yeah.
But as soon as I graduated from Dawson, I knew like I'm not going to university. Like I knew this already.
Yeah.
And then that's when kind of it wasn't Snob Media at the time. It was like Gianni Fiasche reviews or shit like that. You know,
Yeah.
like a weird, stupid name.
And where would people find this? Like it was. Just,
It used to be just on Facebook, and then Instagram became a thing, and then I started adding it on Instagram. But I wasn't really sure where I was going with it. If you scroll back like
Yeah.
to the beginning, you're like, "What the hell is this guy doing?"
Yeah.
But now I guess 2018 came around, and I started to rebrand, and I had an ex-girlfriend that called me a snob, and I was like, when it came to like movies and stuff, I was like, I kind of like that.
Yeah, that works. Sometimes it's like, those names they're like, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
and I've had people tell me that it's like a negative connotation, like the word snob, and it's fine, and I get it, but for me, it's not really that. It's just like I know my shit, like.
But why is it? I don't understand the negative connotation to it. It's like people snob, yeah. But if you know your stuff and you're doing that,
Yeah.
you're looking at me like I'm a snob. I'm not a snob.
Yeah, I'm not. And then people are like, I've done interviews with like people through JFL and stuff like that, and like comedians and things, and they're like, "You're not a snob." I was like, "No, I'm not." But, like, but it's
Just fucking branding.
Yeah, it's just like I'm okay to say like, "Oh, this sucks" or "This
Yeah.
is good," or like the people, they just have a different opinion of the word, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just kind of snowballed, and then it just became. Then I discovered how to, like, I guess during the pandemic, we all discovered different things about how to use technology, and I was like, oh, this is how you make a reel. This is how you do a thing.
Yeah.
So then now it's just become this. I'm literally posting for myself. Like, this is shit that I like, whether you
Yeah.
like it or not.
When did that switch happen? Because there's always at the beginning
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna lick everyone's ass to try to get everyone to like me.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, you're like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I need to do this, or I'm having fun. Like, when did that switch happen?
To be honest, I don't think I ever thought of other people.
You fucking snob, for real.
No, but I just never. I don't know. I think what happened was I had a success with a reel. Okay, and then how that happens is like, fuck. You're like, shit. This has like thousands of views. You want to keep that going.
Yeah.
But then I was noticing that I didn't have to post about Marvel. I didn't have to post about fucking Dune. I didn't have to post about all these like big things that everyone's posting about.
Yeah.
I could just post things like, "Oh, do you remember this movie?" And people were like, "Oh, fuck, I remember that."
Yeah.
And this is all shit from like my childhood and things where I'm like, "Oh, well, I like posting about this stuff." I always post little blurbs and stuff
Yeah.
about like either the first time I watched it or like maybe I was too young to watch something or because my parents kind of always gave me the freedom to watch what I wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it just switched, and then now I'm just there's weeks where I won't post, and then there's weeks where I'll post like twice a day for
Yeah.
every day, you know, just because I'm inspired or I watch something or something triggers me or and then this kind of branched into a production, like producing shows and producing comedy shows, and it just kind of, I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened.
That's what I was about to say, because it sounds
Yeah.
like it was just this fun project, like just this
Yeah.
fun thing for you.
Yeah, I didn't want to go anywhere with this, and now like we have like thousands of followers where I'm like, I don't even know how this happened.
Why are they?
Yeah, and they're not from Montreal. There's people from like all over the world that like DM me and stuff. Like it's nice.
When
cool.
did you know it's such a it's always fun
Yeah.
when something you didn't think was gonna happen ends up happening, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like, holy shit! Did it switch something for you, like mentally, about it once you started noticing people were actually tagging along and liking and commenting and DM? Like, what happened in your mind to say, wait a minute, like, there's something here?
There's something here. I think what ended up happening was I kept posting these stupid things. Okay. And it's always the stupidest shit that you don't care about.
Yeah.
That gets the most views and the most things.
Yeah.
The example I can give you is maybe in the last year or so, I had posted this reel of of Ryan Gosling,
Okay.
saying Putin.
Okay.
Within like 2 weeks, there was like 1.5 million views on
What?
this reel.
Okay.
And my followers just kept growing and growing and growing. And I was like, okay, but I'm not going to keep posting
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling shit because love the guy, but this is not what I want.
Yeah.
I want to post random stuff.
Even more random.
Yeah, and I always keep telling my friends, I'm like, every time I post something that I care about, I get 10 likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always like that.
I know.
And then the switch that happened was, I think, I didn't have to start giving a shit about what people thought about what I was posting.
Yeah.
I just want to post the post. Like, I'm a very dry, sarcastic, pretty monotone guy. This is me. Like, how we're talking now is just me. And I think it took me also a long time to figure that out about myself.
Why? What were you trying? What were you think? Who did you think you were?
I think look, this all dates back to like years. Like I was in my first serious relationship was a long period of time. When I left that relationship, I kind of grew into someone who I thought I was. This was 10 years ago. And then you meet other people, you meet friends, and then you kind of just, you're comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. How long did that? It's crazy how.
It's years. I think I'm still in the process. I think now I'm more.
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know a lot more about who I am and what I like and what I don't like. And as far as me being a person, I've become also like, I don't like, I almost like no filter. I have a filter.
Yeah, it's a common sense
But
filter, you know.
yeah, common sense filter. But at the same time, it's like if I don't like something, I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna say it. I'm not scared to say it. And I used to be more fearful, and I still am fearful about certain things. You can ask my friends. You can ask my family. I'm very OCD for certain things, and like I just the way the brain works, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not only a movie and a music snob, but I'm also a time snob. Like,
What do you mean?
like I'm obsessed with time. Like I just like
Well done.
for me, it's like I need to know how long things are gonna be. I need to know, or if I feel like I'm always the planner more or less in the group of friends. So like it's like, we need to be at the Bell Center by this time, and we should be there in half an hour, but we're still home. You know,
You're buzzing.
you know, I'm like freaking out. My friends know that, and they make fun of me, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm okay because I know that I think it's because I'm very self-aware. To a certain extent, that I'm like, I know I'm like this, and but like the switch happened, I guess, throughout getting to know yourself. Like I said, I was in a really long relationship.
Yeah.
I needed to leave that. You get into other relationships, you're like, okay, and then you meet new friends, and people that share the same interests as you and like same thought process as you, which is kind of nice, you know.
Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air, man.
Yeah,
And you're like, holy shit, there's other people that think like this. It's like, because you always, especially if you felt, I don't know, I could relate to that. I felt like for a long time, like, maybe no one understands why. Like, how come I'm thinking like this?
Yes.
And am I a fucking psychopath?
Yes.
Am I a psychopath?
Our
Because
parents think we are, by the way.
my-
There's like my dad, I'll post shit online and he'll be like, I have no idea what this is. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, my mom doesn't even know what Instagram looks
You know what
like,
I mean?
so forget
Yeah,
it. Thank
you know?
God. But it's just the idea of like, I used to think to myself, like, I must be like a bit insane because like
Or an
no one
outcast.
around me or an outcast. Like I really felt like I don't know, like I'm not fitting in here with or maybe I thought I didn't fit in, but I just
I
really,
definitely, I think that's still today. Sometimes where I'm like, oh, I don't like, you know, like there's sometimes where I question my. I'm actually really jealous of certain people that are really like quick.
Yeah.
You know, like I've dabbled in stand up comedy and amongst like what the hell, amongst producing and stuff, and it's hard. It's hard, and I tried doing like so we'll go into this after, but like I was producing and hosting comedy shows from 2018 till 2020.
Yes, I remember you were doing that.
And I was hosting, and then I would try and dabble into in crowd work. You need to be fucking quick.
That
You know what I
must
mean?
be.
And there's sometimes where like I'm hanging with my friends and they're so quick, and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
How come I can't rip into people as
Yeah,
fast
why
as
can't
you?
I rip into this person? But I know that and then I'll be in my car later. Fuck!
Fuck, that was a good line. You drive back. It's like
You
George
know?
Costanza.
Yeah. You know, and what were we talking about?
Well, it was just about like feeling different. Like,
Oh,
it was-
yeah.
And then you start recognizing like, okay, I'm starting to get to understand who the hell I am a bit.
You get to know how your brain works too. It's
Yeah.
interesting, and then yeah.
Well, it's funny because once you start understanding
Yeah.
what really kind of like gets to you, either in a good way or in a bad
Yeah.
way, you kind of start understanding like also what not to do. Because you
Yes.
start realizing like I'm just not good when this happens,
Yes.
and I am like really good when this happens. So why am I fucking with this thing? Like let me just work with that as a baseline, and then the rest I'll kind of like I'll
Build it.
dabble and I'll build off that
Yeah.
because I know there's just something in me that is
Yeah.
I'm just gonna act this way when this happens. So if I know I'm gonna be a dick when that, don't put yourself in that situation. You know,
Yeah.
You
You're absolutely
know it.
right. You're absolutely right.
If you're a stickler for time, okay,
And I'm a fucking control freak.
and a control freak,
Yeah.
dude, you know this about yourself.
Yeah.
Do not fucking depend on someone else to get you there on time, like, because it's just
Yeah,
not gonna work.
100%. It's not only for that. It's even when you're like producing shows and stuff, and you wanna delegate, but you're a stickler for. Oh, okay, I'll delegate. Yeah, they can put the reserved signs in the seats.
You're like the most minimal task possible.
That you can do. Go talk to the sound guy. No. I'll do it. Like, you know.
But you were saying in 2018 to 2020, you were dabbling in comedy. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
mainly comedy, and you were actually part of the show.
Yeah. So in 2018, the Leonardo da Vinci Center in Saint Leonard came to me and they were like, "Oh, we want to do comedy nights, more specifically open mics." And I was like, "This is weird." And at the time, up until recently, I was always working with JFL in the summertime, and
What were you doing for JFL?
I was interviewing comics. I was there on location, interviewing people, and I was also reviewing shows. And it just kind of I got my foot in the door through this great woman and team in Toronto. Her name's Charlene. She pretty much was just like, she met me, and then like as the years went on, she gave me more and more things to do,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, this girl likes me, and like I like her.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And then she was like, oh, why don't you come interview Howie Mandel? Why don't you come interview Russell Peters? Why don't you? And I was
Nice.
like, what the hell? Like, who am I? Like I
I was just about to say, like, okay, for a second, how did you meet this person, and why was there so much confidence from this person in you? Like that, like
I think what happened, just the reason why I'm saying the story, because it ties into the 2018 thing. So what happened is I never remember the year, but a really good friend of mine who's a really successful comic now, Emil Khoury, he used to work for PR at JFL for this woman out of Toronto, and I used to write an English blog for Cittadino Canadese.
Okay, yeah, the newspaper.
The newspaper,
Yeah,
yeah.
My dad loves that fucking newspaper, dude. It was every Sunday morning or whatever, he'd be there reading and having his coffee.
So the newspaper kind of approached me to write movie reviews in English, and then also they were always getting asked to go to JFL, and they never went because they're like, "Bah, me, I don't speak English." So
They won't get half the jokes.
yeah.
Okay.
So then the editor of this newspaper was like, "Do you want to go to Just for Laugh?"
One laugh.
Yeah,
Just
just
for
for
laugh.
Yeah. And I'm like, sure. And that kind of snowballed. And I get to the ethnic show at the time. That's what it was called before
Yeah.
they changed the name. And I meet with Emil. And we had
Oh,
never.
that's where I was like, I've seen him at the ethnic show. I was
Yeah.
like, why do I know this fucking comic's name? And he was great.
Yeah.
Anyways, I
Yeah.
was like, what show was it?
So he met me. We had never met in person before.
Okay.
He saw me. He goes, "You're not." My birth name is Giovanni, and it tends to go easier on paper, Giovanni than Gianni.
Yeah.
So I always write Giovanni, and he's like, "You can't be Giovanni." I was like, "And I am." He's like, "I thought you were 80 years old." I was like, "No, it's me." This was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. And that kind of just, and they were, because I was saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
They were throwing everything. They were like, interview this person, interview this person.
That's amazing.
And then it just kind of happened. And then I kind of got out of the Cittadino thing and started doing my own thing with Snob. And then that just, opportunities just kept happening every year. And I was like, sure. And they were like, tickets for this, tickets for that. I was like, okay, amazing. And I love it because, I loved doing that, and they liked the work I was doing.
It's like
So it was just like hand in hand. And my questions weren't like, sometimes they could be in-depth questions, but sometimes I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
So I would ask the stupidest shit. And that kind of got me to the last 2-3 years. I was doing the red carpet at Just for Laughs.
Get out of here.
With like my tiny mic. I had a tiny mic. It was called Tiny Mic Big Business. I still do it. And I would just go on the red carpet and I would just ask the stupidest fucking shit. And some comics would be like, this is dumb. I'd be like, I know it is. This is the point.
This is the point.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
Just for Laughs, guys.
Yeah, like I would be like, what's your karaoke song? And then they would tell me their song and I would start singing it so that they could start singing it with me so that we can have a moment.
That's amazing.
So like stuff like that happened. And so going back to 2018, so the center, Leonardo da Vinci, were like, oh, you have kind of these, you understand comedy, you do these things for Just for Laughs, can you do it for us? I was like, I guess. So what ended up happening was I had this idea. I'm like, okay, your open mic situation, it's not gonna work. Okay. I said, but what if we put on monthly galas?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a Just for Laughs.
Kind of like
gala.
Just for Laughs, but we have to transform this entire room in the center.
That's fucking big, that room, dude.
So it wasn't the 500
Okay.
seater. So
Okay.
on that same floor, on the same level as the big theater, there's another room,
Okay, yeah.
Governor's Lounge, it's called.
Okay, yeah.
It's like marble everywhere.
Yes, with all the pictures in there.
All the picture frames.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
It's
so
the first time I walked in there, I said, "This is like,
is this a morgue?
yeah."
Yeah.
It's like, did someone die in here?
So what happened was I walked into, they were like, oh, we want to do it in here. I was like, cool, that works. We have to get rid of all these paintings. They're like, no, we can't do that. I was
Yeah.
like, no, you have to do something. You have to put curtains. You have to do,
Yeah.
you
It would be awkward doing a comedy show and you just have like
yeah.
all these people lined up. You're
Yeah.
like, someone's staring.
I can't remember if for the first show we still had the frames on the walls.
No.
But I definitely remember making a joke about how it looked like a morgue in here.
Yeah.
But so that happened. So we did that first show, October 2018. I asked my friend at the time, Emile Corey, the comic, and I asked another friend of mine, Reginald Saint-Éloi, who was my old boss at the Beat.
You worked at the Beat.
I worked at the Beat for a long time. That's what I did right out of CEGEP, is I worked at the Beat.
Oh shit! Okay, I
I
didn't
worked
know
for
you
like 5
did.
years. Yeah.
Okay, what were you doing at the Beat in promos?
Promo marketing, and then
Okay.
they had me do some on-air stuff, like stupid shit all the time. Whenever it was like Italian something,
Yeah.
it was always me.
They're
you know?
like, here, come.
Yeah,
we
come,
need,
man.
we need that
Yeah,
voice.
yeah.
We need that voice.
Yeah.
Come here.
So I asked them first. I was like, they asked me to do this. I'm like, I think you guys should be part of the show. Maybe we can start something new. And they both said, okay, well, like if we're gonna do it, you should host. I was like, I don't know.
Oh man,
What are you talking about?
How were you feeling in that moment when?
No,
they're
I
like, "Why don't you host
initially
it?"
said no. I was like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'll get someone to host it. They're like, I don't know. So they kind of like egged me on for a while. I ended up getting the lineup together, and then I was missing a host.
Then not anymore. They're like, we got a host. You.
And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I had no prior experience to doing stand-up.
How was it?
before that night? I literally so what happened was we're selling the show. We had no idea how to set it up. We wanted to have this whole elaborate cabaret style seating for the first show. That was not going to happen. What ended up happening? Cabana Suc tables. That's what it was. It was just people lined up like they were like a jury, like just behind each other.
No way.
Yeah. So and most of the people in the crowd were friends and family.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's the beginning.
the center was like, oh, we're lucky if we sell like 50 tickets. We sold 120.
Wow.
Okay, and this was all just by I'm doing stand up. Like come check out this new show. So we did that first show. I went on stage. I did well, but I probably did not.
You feel like you bombed?
I don't think I bombed because I knew the people in the crowd. Right?
Okay.
So like I definitely
Would
was.
you have preferred not knowing the people in the crowd?
No, probably not.
No?
No.
I feel like if I would ever have to do stand up the first time, I'd have to do it in front of strangers. Because I feel like in front of strangers, I feel like it's like, like therapy or something. You don't know the person. Just say all kinds of fucking stupid shit you want.
Yeah. But what ended up happening was I took this opportunity to talk about things that my family had no idea about.
Oh, shit.
So that's how I did it. Is that I'm going to mention drugs. I'm going to mention drinking. I'm going to mention these things,
Your
so like
mom and your dad must have been
yeah,
buzzing.
so it's nice that's how it was like this is what's happening, guys.
How was the reaction? Did you like whenever you said one of those jokes
Yeah.
that you knew that your parents had no fucking clue that you did that stuff? Did you stare like right at your dad and like just to see what the reaction was?
I initially was like, my mom's disappointed, and my dad is just like, fuck. I knew it.
I should have stopped.
I knew he smoked weed.
I knew it, but now I know it.
Oh, he takes edibles too. Fuck.
Fuck. And you're kind of like, did you hold back a bit, knowing that? No, you.
No, I
you
didn't. Actually, I did not. So what happened was I got on that stage and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
There's nothing truer than when you hear actual comedians say, "Oh, the laugh is like heroin."
Yeah,
It is.
I can't imagine. I always wanted to try it. I
you should.
always wanted to try it. A stand up, like a set, the 5 minutes. The open mics. And there's something like I'm like
The
funny.
blockage.
I feel like I have some funny, but they're not jokes. They're just funny stories.
You kind of just work them out. I ended up a lot of the stuff I wrote, it was just self-deprecating all the time.
Yeah.
That and stories about my grandmother. Like I was trying to also a big thing for me with doing those shows at the center was to branch out of that Italian mentality, because I don't think I'm trying to remember the lineup for the first show that we did. There was the only Italian on the lineup was me. There was Emil is Lebanese, Reg is Haitian.
And you organized the
I organized.
Yeah, you really wanted to break.
The headliner was
out.
Neil Jana at the time. I think he's also a Lebanese. I really and even for me doing jokes about my grandmother, I didn't want to do the whole nonna shtick.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just want to do things myself. Like I'm Italian, but
I
don't want to tie into my life. Like it is part of my life. It's part of my culture and my heritage. But when it comes to comedy, like you need to branch out. Like there are the originators of that type of comedy. We know who they are, but like you can't constantly, like, you need to branch out of that.
What was it like for me? I resonate with that because the Italian thing was like, yeah, I'm Italian. I have my background. But why? But why does it always have to be like this way of doing it?
Why?
Why is it like automatically? And I found when I was younger, I actually went the opposite direction. Whatever everyone did that was like Italian, that was the thing. Okay, I'm going the opposite way. I want to try something different, or in my point of view, felt very different. Maybe someone that was Lebanese is like, dude, you're still very Italian, probably
for sure.
But it was just I felt different than that same shtick for everything. Like this is how you do it as an Italian.
And it's not to say that we're shitting on our heritage.
No,
we love being Italian,
dude.
But
well, hold on, I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I was like a bit. Because there was so many like the stereotypes about like Italian, like this is how it is. Oh, you live with your parents, and
you grew up in the 90s, though, right?
Sorry,
you grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was in high school in the 90s.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Right. So like 95 or 96, I was like Sec 1 or whatever.
Okay.
So like I remember, and I had older brothers. So like I kind of have this idea, like I feel like I know the 80s very well and the early 90s because of my brothers. And then after like 94, 95, it's like really like I know, like that's my shit now.
That's your shit, yeah.
And so, but I just found it was like, I don't want to be that typical Italian where you know exactly how I'm gonna be. I just felt like it was like I didn't resonate with that.
Yeah,
And-
I agree.
But
Fuck,
I like pasta, dude.
What are we doing here?
Like what?
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's like but I like pasta. I still like those things. I like to make fucking dick jokes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
But it's like I didn't want it to just be like this is who you are.
Yeah.
Automatically, I have to
Yeah,
follow
you don't
that
want to
bucket.
pinpoint it and be like, oh yeah, Stef's Italian.
Yeah,
Ah,
you
bro.
can tell by my name and you can
Yeah,
tell by my
100%.
accent. But I don't want you to think like right away that everything else is that.
But you know what it is about our voices too is that I think because you also worked in radio, right? Like you.
I worked in TV.
Okay, TV. All right. So, when I started working at the Beat, and I was like, "Oh, my dream is to be a broadcaster." You know, like after film school, I was like, "My dream is to be a broadcaster. I need to get on air."
Why? What was it about getting on air?
I love being behind the mic.
I know.
I love being behind the mic. This right now, it's like this is heroin.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Every
I love
time I have a session
Yeah.
with someone, I love it. It's like it's the first fucking time every time.
If I knew the shit that you knew about tech, I would, and I had a setup like this, I would be talking to myself.
You're just staring at the wall.
Yeah, just
Good morning.
So, you know, like I would just be talking to myself. But for me, the thing is, I love being behind the mic. I know nothing about that shit. I know nothing about tech. And going back to your question was, when I worked at the Beat, they were like, "Oh, you sound too Italian." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
What are you talking about? What the fuck you talking about?
Fuck you talking about?
Fuck you.
How dare you?
How dare? Who the fuck do you think?
You know?
I'm thinking,
And then
I asked you. When did I fucking ask you to come out here?
Yeah,
Instead
you
of
know?
becoming Joe Pesci.
yeah, start fucking like shooting, like just bringing a gun to work. No, they were like, "Oh, do this with your voice. Do this with your voice. Do this with your voice." I was like, "Oh, interesting."
That you just sounded like you were gonna fucking do some late night.
No, but you know what I mean.
FM
So
DJ.
for me,
Good night.
when
How are you?
when I listen to my friends speak, I am the one that sounds the least Italian,
I feel like that too.
and I feel you and I were able to mask it.
Yes.
We are.
I can at times, but then sometimes
It just comes out, bro.
it just comes out, dude. At a certain point, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and that's the beauty.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it because I feel like I don't want to sound like a bro,
But sometimes it just comes out.
but it just comes out.
It just
Like
comes
now,
out
but
sometimes.
it just comes
It
out.
just comes out. But and then there's certain sounds, no matter
Yeah.
what, like
Yeah.
it says everything you need to say with a sound. But
I guess.
but
You know?
but okay, so you start 2018 to 2020 is
I'm
this
glad
like,
I'm glad you're taking notes because I'm not.
yeah, I'm thinking I'm here, I'm remembering. After the beers, then all of a sudden who the fuck remembers anything?
Exactly.
And then you start getting intense like at the concert. Hey, you coming on the show? So 2018 to 2020, you
Yeah.
have this gig now. At the
Yeah,
LDV
this is a
Center.
monthly thing that's happening. So
How the fuck are you finding?
So October 2018 happens. Everyone after the show is like, this was a success.
Yeah,
The
especially
center,
50 people,
the
120.
center was like, what the fuck? How are we gonna do
A hard
this?
on at the center. Let's
You're
go.
getting people to come to this. And I didn't really have a brand then either. I was literally a nobody. Like I'm also the type of person that Snob Media, and this is where my dad's voice comes into my head, and like some people know the brand, but they don't know who it's associated to. So they don't know who I am. And I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I like
Isn't that kind of a nice
hot.
feeling then? It's hot. I get turned on thinking
Yeah,
about it.
like
I touch
it's-
myself thinking about
Yeah, like it's nice, but I get it too because I want people to be like, oh, Snob Media is Gianni, you know, or Gianni is Snob Media, you know.
it. Yeah.
But I like the mysteriousness of like I don't really show my face on my page. I do sometimes when I'll post like a video or I'm promoting a show or something.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But so anyways, so 2018 happens. I'm a nobody. I'm putting on these shows. You asked how I got these comics. Most of them would be through DMing.
Okay.
And
So-
then thankfully my friends Reginald and Emil know a lot of people
Yeah,
in the
in the
industry.
network, right?
So they were like, oh, you should call this person, you should call this person, you should do this, you should do that. What happened was, so October 2018, November, the center was like, we want another one before the holidays. I was like, okay. So we did it. I think the second one we
Yeah,
did,
no problem. You're sweating.
Yeah. The second one we did was, I don't know if you know Gino Durante.
Yeah, he's fucking funny,
Yeah, he's
dude.
fucking hilarious.
He's fucking funny, dude. I saw him. I think I might have come to that show. I remember seeing
Maybe.
one of the shows at LDV, And there was this one guy, and I think it was Gino, dude.
Super like
Yeah.
physical. Like,
Oh my god, I
yeah.
was dying on.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
So he was working out his hour at the time, and so he came to do the show. Everyone came. It was sold out again, like because everyone knew Gino, and it was the first time we really put a name on the poster, and it was like, oh, people were coming to see Gino, you know.
Yeah.
But they had to see me first. And I remember that time, November 2018, I bombed so hard.
Oh yeah.
I was too confident.
Oh,
I was
no.
too confident. I think that show we had done 2 shows in one night. We had 7 and a 9. It used to be like open bar for us in the comics.
Oh, man.
It was the second show.
You got what happened?
I stepped my foot on stage. I was like, wow, I am drunk.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It hit you at that
It
moment.
hit me at the moment, and I have a pretty high tolerance, and like I was like, okay, but obviously you mask it, but you know that you're doing bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's also like now you're so self-conscious.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it today, and I'm getting anxiety.
Yeah.
I remember putting my foot on stage, and I was like, oh fuck.
I fucked up.
Yeah, I fucked up. I should have slowed down. But these are things you also learn along the way.
What
when
did you do?
producing shows.
What happened? Like,
No, I did my.
I want you to get some anxiety. I want you to feel some stress.
I did
right
my set, and I was just, some jokes weren't hitting, so I was a bit more aggressive.
now. Please tell me.
I was just like, oh, why aren't you getting the joke? It's hilarious. You know? But at some point, as soon as you poke the fun back at yourself,
Yeah.
people laugh.
Classic.
Instant. And that's something you kind of learn, I guess, while being on stage. And again, I am not a seasoned comic. I look at myself more as a producer, but I was a comic for those months that I was doing those shows. And my issue was I never went to do open mics. I would just write new shit. I would.
How did you write it though?
I don't know. This is.
Like, how the fuck do you sit down and write? I find when you think of a joke, it's one thing, but to write it, it's like I feel like because I've done that. Like I've written jokes, and when I write it, I feel like I literally killed the joke. Like I not killed it in a good way. I feel like it lost all its humor writing it out.
I know what you mean. For me, it was all my issue was always I came up with the punchline first for some reason. Right?
And I kicked it in the pussy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. like that. I always had like the punch, and I would always like throw jokes to my friends and people like Emil and things, and I'd be like, how can I work this out? And they would just tell me to write things that associate with the punch, you know. But it's hard for me. It's really hard for me, and I feel like since I stopped doing the monthly shows and since the pandemic, I just kind of writing wise, I sunk into a fucking like even now, like I have a notepad like on my phone that's just all bits and like just things that I know I can work on, but I don't know how. I don't know how anymore, which is a problem, right? Because I was doing it every month, and every month was the deal was
You were practicing, man.
I was practicing, but the thing is, I would have my friends Emil and Reginald back every month, but the deal was you have to have new material every month. So the people that are coming back, the regulars that are coming back to the show, they see you again, and we're kind of building your career from here. But I also needed to write new stuff.
That's fucking heavy, man. To write new jokes every month.
Yeah,
and especially when you're not a comedian.
No, and I was able to build a 10-minute set.
10 minutes is long, man.
Throughout the years.
Yeah.
I was able, throughout those 2-ish years, I was able to build a solid 10-minute set with jokes that I know worked.
Yeah.
But then it was like building new stuff. Like I want to write new shit. And then you can't. And then it's hard. It's again, if any comedians watching this, I'm not a fucking comedian.
Don't fucking follow me.
But like, don't at me or whatever. Like but like we all I think can agree that it's tough. And like I know like people that I know that are comics professionally, they have a system. Every day they're writing. They go to a cafe or they'll do something. Or
don't you find, dude? It doesn't matter what the fucking industry is. It really doesn't matter. You could talk comedy. I've had musicians on. I've had comedians on. Tom Murphy. I don't know if you know Tom.
No.
Oh, dude, Tom is fucking funny. He's fucking funny. You reminded
He's a comic?
Yeah, he's a comic. He told me this story once. Before you had said something. You know, like when you were getting aggressive with the crowd. Like,
yeah. The fuck?
So he got invited to do a set at a wedding.
Oh.
So someone's like,
that's rough.
Yeah, he's like, come and do the set at a wedding. So he gets to the wedding, but he's fucking wasted. And he gets there, and then he's like, dude, I started like shitting on the crowd. He goes, I see this old lady. He's like, put down the fucking cookie. No, so anyways, but Tom is
to be escorted out.
Tom is hilarious, but You know, everybody, and it doesn't matter the industry, it's always the same thing. Every day working at it, every day
Yeah.
like kind of going
Routine.
back to the grind, routines, and it becomes so systematic
Yeah.
that that's the reason why they get better, and that's what makes them great comics
Yeah.
or great musicians or great artists
Yeah.
or name the industry. Even like I have some guys in real estate, same thing. You
Yeah.
know, like and obviously real estate
Yeah.
with your family. So it's kind of like they're always at it. That's
Yeah.
why it was kind of like they always become successful after. They never let up on it.
Yeah, and then that's really good. Now you're just making me question my life.
Fuck, I'm not consistent at anything.
We'll be here for 2
Outside
hours,
of jerking
guys.
off. That's the only thing.
Why are we aggressive?
Why are we so aggressive all the time?
So, yeah, so November 2018 happened, and then the new year came around, and they were like, "Oh, let's keep doing it." By then, we had figured out the layout. They ended up buying tables, buying chairs, putting black curtains all around. And the ceilings are low in there, so like it was really a comedy club vibe. The only thing is like we had so much demand that we needed to pack that fucking room every time, and it was always like sardines. It was
kind of nice though.
150 people.
Wow, in the governor's ball.
Okay, yeah, yes.
No way.
Sardines. And we would have bar staff and people working, so they would
shit.
have to figure out a way to get around. Like, and we had a DJ. There was always like funk and soul music playing. Like this was the vibe.
That's amazing. It reminds me. Did you ever go to the Comedy Cellar in York?
Yeah, I actually just came back. I was there a few weeks ago.
Isn't it such a great fucking?
It is insane.
I walked in there. It was a Monday night.
Yeah.
And I watched the 11:30 showing or something like that. I was like,
You gotta go to late show.
The late shows are the best ones.
Always.
And I'm alone because I was there for work.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I have a flight or whatever the next day. Fuck it, I'm gonna go to the comic club. Go to the Comedy Cellar. I'm waiting outside and get it like in the line or whatever. They give you that, that envelope
To put your phone in.
put your phone in. There's a number one, whatever, and all that shit.
Don't take your phone out of the pouch.
Don't take the fucking phone out of the pouch, and they're so aggressive.
Yeah.
Don't take the
kill
phone
you.
out of
Yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
New York.
"Dude, relax."
Yeah.
And so I remember just sitting down at a table with a random person because they're just putting
They
you.
just
If you're
seat you
alone,
anywhere.
boom, you sit anywhere. And I'm watching this comedians after comedians fucking killing it.
Yeah.
From Comedy Central, they're just running up on stage and they're doing all this amazing work. And again, it was that sardine feel.
It's the best.
It's such a great. I love a good comedy club.
When fast forwarding a bit in a few years was because you mentioned the Cellar, and this is how I got into my latest monthly venture for comedy, because I'm putting on monthly shows at Doubles.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought it was. I saw that it seemed like it was like happening.
It's every last.
I wasn't
Wednesday
sure
of
if
the
it
month.
was. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a consistent thing or just kind of like a one-off or something like that.
No. So yeah, we can get
Doubles is a great fucking place for comedy.
Yeah, it's
Doubles is awesome.
It is the
After
dream.
Queens of the Stone Age, that's where I ended up going. Was Doubles.
Really? Oh, because he was supposed to be there. By the
Yeah,
way.
I know. Danny calls me and he's like,
Oh, sick.
yeah, because Danny was in my band. We were in a band
my
together.
God.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So Danny's like, come after to Doubles. There might be, possibility or whatever. Then they had to go to Quebec City or something like that or whatever. But he's like, dude, come. So I'm like, okay. And then obviously, Danny, it's a long time friend.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's
But
the
anyways,
best.
Doubles, yeah.
Yeah, Doubles. Just so just fast forwarding a bit. So Doubles comes around because you mentioned the Cellar. Was I've been going to Doubles since they did their soft launch last year. Okay,
Yeah.
so like it's kind of nice to have seen it grow
Those
to what
burgers.
it's, and the burgers and just everything. The people that work there, the overall vibe of the place. Like even the music they play music we love.
Yeah. I love, dude, we at one point we were going on Thursdays, my buddy Manny and I, and we just go to Doubles and just, it's just a great, like, just beers, burgers.
Just hang out.
But it's like a bar that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, but you can sit back and still hang out
And
while
still
all this
have
shit's
fun.
happening.
Yeah, exactly. And I would walk in there and I'd be like, and I started taking my friends there. I was like, guys, you have to check out. And I'm glad that I never overhyped the burger, because the burger is probably, I don't have a burger anywhere else now, which is kind of
So good.
yeah.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I'm fucking starving. I was like, fuck, it would be kind of cool to do a show here. I was just like looking around.
Yeah.
But then I spoke to my friends, and even my friends were like, oh, that's cool, but where would you do it? I was like, I don't know. They're like, okay. I walked in randomly a Thursday night as well. I was there with my dad. We came back from somewhere. He's like, let's just go grab a burger. So we walked in. Danny happened to be working that night.
Nice.
He comes to see us. So Danny's married to my cousin. That's how we know each other.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Jenny's my
Get it. Jenny is your cousin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a small world.
Yeah, it's super random. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we walk in. He comes over to see us, and he goes, "Oh, I've been thinking about you, because I just came back from New York. I went to the cellar." He goes, "I want to do comedy."
Danny said that.
Danny said this to me. I'm like, no, not that he wants to do comedy. He wants to do a comedy show at Doubles. I was like,
Imagine that Danny
like,
could do.
yeah. I'm funny.
I'm funny.
So I kind of like was like, okay, like I thought about this. This is now you're asking me. I'm like, we have to figure out a way to do this. Within 2 weeks, I went back to the bar like before opening hours. We laid out the plan, and I was like, okay, stage here, spotlight here. How many seats do we have? Yeah, okay, go. Could we do standing room? Yeah, okay, all right. Within 2 weeks, we announced the show. This was the end of March, 2024. We we announced it. We had this whole plan to announce it like 2 days before. Very risky.
Yeah,
for me, the OCD
you
and
must
control.
have been
I was
fucking
panicking,
dying.
and I think Danny knew I was panicking because I was texting him all the time. I was like,
must
"Hey
have
man,
been-
where's the poster?
he
Where's the
blocks you
poster?"
out of it?
Yeah, you know
This fucking OCD
this fucking
cocksucker.
guy. And then I think we posted like on a Monday. The show was the Wednesday. Within like an hour, it was sold out.
Yeah.
And then
It's a great location, one.
it gives you Comedy Cellar vibes.
Yeah, it total comedy cellar vibes. And it even on Park, it's like
At the corner of Fairmont.
yeah, it's like a fantastic spot to do. And you're going down the stairs into the basement.
It's the best thing. And then that just stuck. I was standing at the bar with Danny when the show was happening, the first one, and he's like, okay, April, it's yours. I was like, okay. Same thing happened for May. We're doing a May one. I don't know when this is going to be posted, but
I thought I saw it. It was posted. No, mate.
it is. You know, I'm seeing the podcast.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know when this will be posted, but
Let's see. I'll try to organize it.
no stress. But May 29th is the next one.
May 29th.
Yeah.
No stress. Do it. Fucking piece of shit.
Be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
Yeah. But I think my whole producing thing has kind of led me to doing a monthly like this. We have plans to maybe extend it and maybe do it more often. But right now we're just riding the wave and people are loving it. The comics that I'm booking are like just freaking out over the space.
Well, it's I think that's what's nice about it. It's like organic.
Yeah,
you know,
Doubles is very organic. If you think about it, that place is fucked. If you go now Friday nights, you have to wait outside.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But that's what kind of I find good things happen where it just feels right,
Yeah,
and then you build off that.
Yeah.
But you keep on going with the feeling that it feels right to do this. When it starts becoming boring or it starts becoming like it's losing that edge, you don't want to be there. Actually, like you're kind of just doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt like that at one point with LDV.
I felt like that at one point with LDV. Without going into too much detail, like after the pandemic, it just wasn't working anymore.
Yeah, you just
The format wasn't working. We attempted. Remember when they were doing like, you can have 50 people. We attempted that. We sold both shows out with 100 people each show, but it's not the same.
No.
It's not the vibe.
But you're not the same.
I'm not the same. I'm rusty as fuck. Like I don't really. And then, I had certain issues with the center and whatever. And then coming back was hard. And then we had done. When everything was lifted after the pandemic, I want to say July 2021, we did a big show in the theater.
The big one, the
big, the 500 seater. But at the time, we couldn't have 500 people. It was 250. So we sold out.
To see one seat.
We sold out 250 seats, and it was the first show that large in the East End of Montreal after the pandemic.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. And that's when I was introduced to Rashid. Because
how did that happen?
I don't know.
I'd love to tell you how.
I know how it happened. Anyways, fast forward to 2021, I go back to do a show there at the center. We do it in the big room. Franco Tadeo is the headliner. I have a pretty solid lineup to get people back to laugh and stuff. And then Emil was like, hey, Rashid is like testing out English material.
Yeah.
I'm going to send him your way. He's going to come do the theater. I was like, are you being serious? Because people will actually lose their fucking mind.
Yeah. He's fucking hilarious.
He's like, yeah, he's going to come. I was like, okay. that ended up happening. I literally met this guy for like 25 seconds total, I think. I was hosting. I shook his hand. He knew who I was. He called me from an unknown number to be like,
it
I'm
feels
parked
like
in the back, you know, like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. You don't even want me to have your number. I get it. And
I feel this. We're building a partnership.
Yeah,
It's
building
doing really well. Star 67.
yeah, yeah. So he comes, he does his set, 10 minutes, murders. Everyone is like standing ovation, blah, blah, blah. I don't even think I said bye to him. Like, I think he just left. And that was the end of Rashid for that moment. And then what ended up happening is my friend Emil got married. And Emil, I love this guy. I owe my life to this guy. He put a comedian's table together for his wedding.
Get out of here.
So we're all sitting at this table. So there's me, Rashid, this other great comic, Jacob Aspian, Pantelis.
Okay.
My buddy Steve, who's like my right hand man.
Okay.
He's like we do everything together, and some managers. So Rashid's manager and Emil's manager.
Nice.
We're sitting at this table, and that's how it kind of flowed. I was sitting at the same table with Rashid.
If you're sitting at a wedding table,
yeah,
and you're not friends by the end of the night,
yeah, you're doing it
you
wrong.
fucked up.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to be drinking and eating and
Yeah.
laughing, telling jokes. Like everyone at the table.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite part about weddings is when you
Yeah.
kind of got stuck. When you're going to like a friend's wedding and they don't know which table to put you
And
at.
you're like, you're gonna put you here,
yeah. And then you're next to either the DJ
or the bar.
or the bar.
Yeah,
They
we were
always
next
put
to
you-
the food.
Yeah,
the
even-
international buffet.
Okay, even better.
Thank you, Emil.
Thank you. One more time. Thank you. And you sit down and you just start having drinks. You meet everybody. You
Yeah,
fucking
and
laugh.
it's
But
like, but it's all. I always get to the point of like, how the fuck did I? What the fuck?
don't you feel sometimes like,
How
how did this happen?
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me? I feel like sometimes like these amazing things happen, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how the hell did this happen?
Yeah. So this kind of shot me in the direction of starting to work with Rashid and his team, but that took a long ass time
Yeah.
before. So this is May of last year.
Okay.
It was a bit of a phone tag to put on. So he's like, I want to work with you to do shows at the center. I'm launching an English hour. I'm going to LA. Blah blah blah. I need a space. I was like, okay, the big room. He goes, no. He goes, I know there's a smaller room. So there's the on the second floor. There's a Piccolo. It's called.
Yeah.
It's
remember that room.
139 seats, and he's like, could we do it in there? I said, yeah, let's do it. And then again, phone tag. Blah blah. Blah, things happen. I was talking almost every day to his manager. And then
The OCD in you must have been going fucking crazy.
you know
man.
what? But at some point, because you know when you're doing it back and forth for so long, you're kind of like, okay, take a breather.
Yeah. We need to just take
Let
a
it.
break.
It'll happen. You clearly see the guy is on tour doing his French stuff. Like,
Did it change you in how to deal with people?
Yeah.
Knowing that it's kind of like it's not on your time?
it is not on my time.
Yeah. It's
that
fucking
is-
different. That when you
That
realize
is so real.
Yeah.
What you just said.
you want it to be
It
on your
doesn't
time.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
You don't
your
matter
time.
in this. Not that you don't matter, but like you're not the priority right now. Like this
They're
guy's
there.
on tour. Like
Yeah.
you know, like he's not thinking about you.
It's not that he doesn't care.
No, but he's
It's
busy.
just he has other shit to do
Yeah,
right now. So
yeah.
don't take it personal.
And this is what ended up happening. Is fast forward to earlier this year.
Yeah.
I'm in Hamilton, Ontario,
Ooh.
with some people doing a show, and I got a call from his manager. I'm like, of all fucking times to
Yeah,
call me,
for sure.
and I'm like driving, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm driving to Toronto, whatever. I'm like, can I call you back? I called her back. She goes, okay. This was in February, end of February of this year. She's like, okay, so we want to do shows. I was like, yeah, let me know. Yeah, like April. I was like, okay, it's March.
I was going to say that. Didn't you say March? So
Yeah. She goes, no, I know. I was like,
your asshole went.
I was like, okay, cool. Let me call the center and make sure they're available.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think it's possible.
possible.
yeah, you know. So, but you know when you were saying earlier how things just kind of happen organically?
Yeah.
Kind of like my situation with doubles.
Yeah.
All of these things started happening around the same time.
But isn't it crazy?
I called the center. The center has a new director. Her and I'm gonna do it again.
Another.
Together, it was like a dream.
Yeah.
I got along with this new director. She's amazing. Sandra, shout out. I was like, I need, this is what's happening. I need to know dates ASAP.
Yeah.
within like an hour, she got me the dates that were available for April. I sent them and to Rashid's manager, and she's like, okay, April 19th, and she goes, I was like, okay, cool. She goes, but like I want to do more shows. I was like, okay. She's like, okay, well, like block this date, this date, this date. I was like, okay, cool. How many shows are we doing? She's like, well, she goes, we'll see, maybe like 5, 6. I was like, okay,
Okay.
cool. Because then you think of it, 139 seats for him, it's pretty solid. Like,
Yeah,
it's like he could sell that out, you know. Anyways, long story short, I got the dates. We announced the show. It literally, there was no poster, there was no nothing.
out.
It was just like a picture of Rashid, and I'm like, this is what's happening. Who wants to buy tickets?
Done.
He did not share it. Okay,
He didn't even share it.
he didn't have time to.
It was already sold out.
I posted it. I posted the first show, which was happening April 20th, I think. We did the Saturday first, and we went back on the Friday. Within like 4 days,
Wow.
the show was gone. She goes, okay, we have to announce another one. I was like, okay. So we had done a 7 p.m. That's what we sold out. We're like, okay, let's do 9 p.m. on Saturday. A few days after that, sold out.
How did that change in you though? Like now all of a sudden.
Now I'm like, I'm a sellout king. Like,
Yeah, I was going to say
now
that.
it's kind of
how
like,
big
why
did
is...
and your dick was getting bigger.
Yeah, by the week. I was
by,
just
by the week, you're like, I can't even walk anymore. My
yeah,
back's
you're like,
hurting.
what is this? I don't... Fuck you. That's a good question. I never thought of it like that.
It must have changed something, dude.
It changed me in a sense of like, I've always been, you can ask anybody, I've always been obsessed with ticket sales all the time. Like when I was doing those monthlies at the center, it was me. It was me fucking calling, and me and my dad threatening people to come to the show. It was me and him.
You're a real promoter, dude.
Like and I didn't, you know, there's times where I'm like, I wish I could have tried harder. But,
Harder. Get
no,
to the
but,
fucking job.
But like, because you know, there's sometimes, and this is with
Yeah.
everyone, you're like, oh, I could have done that, I could have
Yeah.
done more. So we sell out 2 shows. Like, okay, well now we have to go to another date. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you want to do another show? They're like, yeah. So then we announced a 3rd show. 3rd show sells out. Then we announced the 4th show. The 4th show ended up being the cap.
Yeah.
Because
there is always a.
there is always a cap, and the 4th show was a bit of a tricky situation, but it worked.
Amazing.
It sold slower, but we had tickets till like the week before, and it was like, oh, now we're sold out. We sold out 3 shows. People were coming, so that was amazing, and that kind of brought me back into the center. And now I'm kind of doing other things with them. I have a huge passion project that involves screening old movies.
Like what?
Like late last year, I did a test run, and I did a screening of Jurassic Park for the 25th anniversary.
It's so
They
good.
have like a movie theater screen, so like we did it there.
Yeah.
We had like 75 people that showed up.
Nice.
Now we're doing at the end of May. We're doing Shrek double feature, Shrek 1 and 2.
I saw that. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Shrek? I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know what it was. Okay.
20th anniversary double
20
feature.
years.
Yeah, imagine.
That about a night.
Yeah, and I'm not doing this for children. I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
Like you know what I
Shrek
mean?
is
Like,
awesome, dude.
Like
Shrek was a great movie.
Yeah, and Shrek 2 for me is like the top tier of sequel. Like
Yeah.
it's so we're showing both those back to back. We're kind of I want to create a room that you can go and watch like a random Stanley Kubrick movie, and like you want like we have
Yes.
we have a few of those around. Like Cinema Moderne does
Yeah.
it, Cinema du Parc does it. Cineplex used to do it,
Yeah.
and now I don't know what the fuck happened with Quebec. They're like, no, sorry.
It's tough, man. It's because
The not the AMC Forum. The Forum has 22 movie theaters.
I know you could put
What
one.
the fuck? There's
the
not
fuck?
22 movies out.
Yeah, and or good ones, like
Or
in
good
general,
ones,
like
yeah.
ones that you're gonna push in a
Yeah,
theater.
you know?
But I agree with you. There's something that I used to love going to the movies. I used to love going to it, and even now, like now with the kid and everything, we said, why don't we go to Cinepark?
Yeah.
And like, kid will be sleeping in the back, and we go watch a movie. You know, instead of being in the house watching a
Yeah.
movie. There was always something fun like to go to the theater. Like I'm not sounding like nostalgic, but
No, but
there was like I used to love going to the video store.
oh man,
Oh, dude, I used to get
that was the rush.
dude. I remember when I
Friday
was
nights, Saturday nights.
dude, 15. My dream job when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to work at the video store.
Of course.
That and H&B. Those are the two dream jobs. I was like, I just want to like watch movies all day.
Yeah.
Smoke J's, watch movies.
Yeah.
And be basically like clerks. You know,
Yes.
in my mind, like that was my dream job.
Yes.
And then the other option was working at a music store, which was, what's that movie?
Oh, like Empire Records or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that vibe, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like
High fidelity.
High Fidelity.
Yes.
Yes,
See? You see
I
that?
knew it. I was like, that's Empire Records, but it wasn't. It was High Fidelity.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
John Cusack.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dude. I saw him with all the vinyls.
Yeah. You're
and
like,
Jack
this
Black
is
and
this is
everybody.
the dream.
It was the dream.
Yeah.
Like that. Those were the types of jobs I wanted because it was
Yeah.
like you got to like watch these movies. You got to like all day talk about music and movies and art and all this stuff. And I used to love going to the video store. I used to love it, man. I used to go there, smoke a joint, and just walk through and just
it's
read
like
all
it's
the
like candy aisles. Yeah.
It was like candy, dude. And I remember there was one place, Super 2000,
Where was that?
or Video 2000 on Beaubien and Langelier. That one then was Super Schwa, whatever, all those guys. Video Roma was
Video
sick.
Roma. My sister lives across the street from the old Video Roma in those
but
condos.
dude.
I still remember the layout.
But wait, because there was two Video Romas.
Oh, okay.
There was the one on Jean Talon.
Jean Talon.
But there was Jean Talon VO area.
Yes.
That's the one you're
Yes.
talking about. But then there was the first one was on Jean Talon where the Bonanza was, like that area there.
Whoa.
That was like, I think, the first Video Roma.
Okay.
I mean, it's so Italian what we just said. But next to the Bonanza, next to
Jean Talon.
Jean Talon.
Video Roma.
Dude, and they were the guys that had the computer for the first time, like to
Really?
search.
That I did not know.
Yeah, to search to see if the movie was in. And they were all like fake copies. They were like doubling all that
Yeah,
shit. dude.
yeah.
But it was like an event going and rent a movie.
Oh, man.
And so the movie theater, back to that, like those things like that. When Back to the Future had the date from the DeLorean,
Yes.
and they had released all the movies.
Yeah.
I went to the movie theater with my brother because we were huge Back to the Future
Yeah.
fans, and just watch 1, 2, and I don't remember if we watched 3, but 1 and 2 for sure.
Sure, yeah.
And so stuff like that is fun, man. To get back together and just
Yeah,
like
man.
watch a movie together.
I'm a big movie theater goer. I still go.
Yeah, I don't
I
go
go
often enough
alone
anymore.
I go alone.
Yeah?
That's like my therapy outside of therapy.
Yeah.
You know, like it's definitely somewhere where I go, whether I'll watch anything. Like so for me, it's like I'll go. This is out. I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah.
I'll sit there like you. I'll smoke J, and I'll just go and I'll
What are
have my popcorn
yeah, isn't it such
alone.
a good
It's the best thing. Sometimes people are like, "Can I come?" I'll be like,
the
"No,
matinees are
sorry."
the best.
That's when I do it. Saturday, Sunday afternoons. Sometimes if work is quiet. Maybe don't put that in.
Yeah,
But,
we edit that.
Yeah,
We accent that part. We
Yeah.
actually elevate the volume.
yeah.
But I used to do that in university. I used to skip class. I used to go to the
Oh yeah, when I was at Dawson, I would always go to the forum.
skip class,
You know,
smoke
yeah.
a J, and just go watch a movie. And I would just sit there and enjoy like 2 hours in the afternoon of just this amazing movie.
And then you question like, why are there other people in here?
Yeah.
Do you not work?
Yeah. What? How come you're not doing shit?
Yeah.
I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
But how come you're not doing shit? But
I love it. I absolutely love and like there's a Gutso near my house, and this is where I go. But like I the dream is to really like, and I think I read an article recently. I need to find it, but how they've been releasing old movies. Like it's been the 25th or 25th anniversary of Episode 1 of Star Wars. Okay,
Wow.
they re-released it. Okay,
it's already 25 years.
I went to see it at the movie theater. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I remember seeing it as a 9-year-old. I remember seeing it in theaters, and they did also The Mummy 25th anniversary.
Wow.
And I think the article, the importance of the article was, it's important for people to experience these movies on a big screen, and
Yeah.
maybe it'll entice people to go watch it. But the problem with that is that no one's advertising it properly.
Yeah.
Because see, you didn't fucking know.
I didn't know.
I found out the Star Wars I knew, but the Mummy I found out by mistake. I just was on the app. I was like, oh, what's playing?
It's funny you say that because I'm trying to think of how did I know about the Back to the Future? I think someone had
Cineplex
posted it.
used to do
Yeah,
that.
you know, it's like there was something
Yeah.
I remember, but it wasn't like this big thing. It wasn't like they were pushing any of it. It was somewhere through a feed.
Yeah, like random.
Yeah,
I mentioned Kubrick earlier. Cineplex did a whole week of
man.
screening Kubrick movies.
oh,
Not
I
in Montreal.
Love that. Not in Montreal. Okay, I was gonna say if I would have saw that, I definitely would want to go watch it for them.
They were screening each one of his movies every day for like 10 days or whatever it was. And a bunch of the comments when the Cineplex announced it was Montreal, like a bunch of comments, not just like
Yeah.
4 people.
Yeah.
Like oh, what the fuck?
Why would you not do that?
like I don't think
what's the
people realize
difference?
how big of a cinephile city Montreal is.
Yeah,
You know, like the same way Montreal's a huge metal city.
yeah.
The
big
same
time.
way Montreal's a huge wrestling city.
Yeah,
how do you fucking like? And so that's where my brain starts to work. I'm like, okay, how do I pull this off? How do I every day screen a Stanley Kubrick movie?
So I was gonna say that. So seeing that when you saw that, it was kind of this idea like a bit forgotten.
Yeah.
In a sense, you see this open space, and now you're doing all the promotions for the comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I want to branch out and do this. Like, is this Snob Media when you had envisioned it, like from when you started it to today? Like, how much has this idea grown into things that you never thought would have been part of it?
It's either things that I've thought about but not dwelled on, or like you know how sometimes you think of something and then you see an ad for it on your phone.
Yeah, the algorithm, man.
Kind of. That's kind of like how Snob Media has branched out.
Yeah.
And then that's brought me to working in, like I said earlier, working in radio, and then meeting like one of my best friends, Jessica Zian, who's married to Terry DeMonte.
Yeah, Jess.
We have a podcast together.
Yeah, the concert goers.
Concert goers. That's where we just talk about our love for live events.
Oh man, Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah,
she's a fucking psychopath for McCartney.
The first time I met her,
I remember she has the tattoo, right? She met him.
I was at
she was
that
on
show.
Stage.
I was at that show. I didn't know who the fuck she was. I was like, who the fuck's this loser?
Yeah, fucking. I'm gonna start a podcast with her.
I always like, yeah, and then we ended up working together at the Beat, and
she went to the Beat.
Yeah, before she worked at.
Okay.
And that's how we got to know each other, and then we just kind of clicked. And then as the years went on, we kind of got like closer and closer. And then I went to her wedding with Terry in Vancouver. That was right before the pandemic. That was the day of the pandemic.
I remember, yeah, because they moved out west.
Yes. So now we have this. It's a small podcast, but it's like our baby. Like we love it.
Yeah.
Like we love doing it. We will go to shows and like talk about them, and sometimes we'll just talk about the industry in general, like because it's a fucked up. What's happening in the concert industry is fucked up. Like ticket prices and things like.
It's insane.
It's actually like it's worrying. It's worrisome. Like,
it's become. I was saying this to somebody. They're making the things that like you used to go, and they're just making it out of reach for people. I feel like they're taking like whether it's hockey tickets, whether it's concert tickets, shows, even like the Tele shows before, which
like $30, not like 60
minimum. Like you're not gonna get one ticket under $80 almost. It feels like. Yeah. So if you're going there, like when I think of a hockey game, dude, if you're like a family of 4. It's $1,000.
Yeah,
it's $1,000. That's tickets.
Yeah,
you didn't buy shit. You didn't buy popcorn. You didn't buy.
You
didn't buy, and that's another fucking $600.
Yeah,
you're like, I gotta go watch a hockey game for like $1,300 a minimum.
One Wednesday night.
And they suck.
Yeah,
and they suck.
Yeah.
Like it's not as though you're watching like a stellar team, like Stanley Cup playoffs, dude. It's a fucking Wednesday night regular season game against fucking Ottawa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nothing crazy.
And they're gonna lose.
And they're gonna probably lose. And so you're like, and it's gonna cost me $1,300.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to this fucking game.
It's nuts. It's actually like now. Actually, we just spoke about it on a recent episode. Was that like now I find myself because buying tickets for so many years, like how to work the fucking system.
Yeah.
So now I find myself like searching around the map to be like, okay, where can I save fucking $50?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, I used to love to sit next to the stage. Now I don't want to spend $400.
But I can't go to a show and be in a shitty seat.
I know what you mean.
It's like I'm rather not go to the show.
Yeah.
If
like I won't sit in the nosebleeds, but like I'll do like a Desjardins.
Yeah.
But like to sit in the nosebleeds, like that's like
I'm not going to the show.
I'd rather not. And now it's become a thing too. Like I noticed since after the pandemic, like it's beers and stuff at every show.
Yeah.
Before that, I feel like I was definitely doing it a lot less. Now it's like buying like 3 or 4 rounds. Like
you cannot go to the concert and be sober. I you know what? I've never watched a show completely sober, and I think I would probably hate going to a concert.
Yeah, it needs to be
there has to be something. Either smoking a J or we're gonna drink beers. There's got to be something.
I need to have a buzz. Yeah,
it's something a little that makes the music feel just a bit better.
I was gonna say that, like the buzz of whatever you're drinking or smoking, but also the buzz of just being in that venue and being in the space. Like, it's especially something like we like we saw Queens together, and like that was a loud fucking show.
That was fucking amazing.
That was loud. It was amazing, and that was a beer show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that was a beer show.
That was an intense show.
Yeah, it was an intense show. Like, and I miss that too. I miss the rock and roll of concerts. Like I was very fortunate and lucky to able to see Foo Fighters last year at Verdun Auditorium. Were you there?
No, I didn't go to that show. I've seen them twice, but the first time I saw them was in the release Color in the Shape.
Wow.
That was fucking sick.
Wow.
That show was epic. There was Foo Fighters, there was Smashing Pumpkins, Our Lady Peace.
Wow.
It was a sick lineup. It was, what was it called?
Back when it
Somersault.
mattered. You know what I mean? Like, it fucking mattered to put on a lineup.
Oh
like that.
man, it was crazy. That show, Taylor Hawkins was. I remember he switched places with Dave Grohl, and for me, I was a huge Nirvana fan.
Okay.
So seeing Dave Grohl on a drum set, like close to the stage, and watching
You
that
were like-
happen, I was like, this is the closest thing I'm getting to Nirvana.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the time, it was
Yeah.
98 or whatever it
Yeah.
was, or
Yeah.
when Color in the Shade came
Yeah,
out.
97,
98,
98,
98, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just like mental to see that whole like that Foo Fighters. Like I loved them at that time. It was so good.
Yeah, I miss that rawness to a show. Like now, I feel like I'm going to shows now, and it's more everything's more staged. It's more
Yeah.
like it's fine. Like I'll never get rid of my love for live music. Like it's something I'm very big on. Like I love it, and but I do miss like we need to bring back a bit of the rock
I
and
just like
roll.
unscripted. I find one thing that I don't remember if it was past guest or something. I was saying the thing that I like about live shows is I don't want to hear it like the album.
I don't want to hear it like the album.
I get like there's the parts, whatever the
Yeah.
main choruses and verses, but you got to improvise. You got to throw in. One of my favorite bands to watch live was Muse.
Oh yeah.
Muse live is ripping covers in the middle of songs. They're transitioning. They're doing all these breaks, these musical breaks. And I'd be like, the first time I saw it, 'cause I think I saw them like 3 or 4 times. And the first time I saw them, I was like, holy shit. This is what I wanted to see in the show. Like there was a stage, there was a show.
Yeah, they're huge. They're like the big pyros. And
Yeah, it
whatever.
was sick. So they had all those things.
Yeah.
But the show was, you're not going to see this show
Again.
anywhere
Yeah.
but here, you know? Or at least it felt like that.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big lover too of bands that like change set lists nightly. You know, like Springsteen or I'm a huge Dave Matthews Band fan. Like they never play the same set twice.
That's
Like,
amazing.
It's you know, it's like almost like a lost art.
Just improvisation. Like
Yeah,
that
like, why
whole
is everything
idea.
fucking staged? Why is
Yeah.
everything? You don't love being in Montreal. Shut up.
You know, stop it. You just like insert city here.
Yeah.
Hello, Cleveland. No, what is it? There was Aerosmith there on The Simpsons when he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hello, St. Louis. He's like, Steve, it's Springfield. Yeah, whatever.
You know, like there's a magic missing, but I still gravitate and I love it. I love that's where I'm at during the pandemic. That's what I miss the most.
Yeah,
I even told my family, I'm like, I miss you guys, but I miss fucking live shows, bro.
I miss you, but not as much.
Not that much. You know?
But you know, so when I wanted to ask you a question about Snob Media, just in general.
Yeah, because we've been all over the place.
Yeah, and this is the fun part. That's what I like about the podcast. It can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Where, like, now that you're working on this stuff with doubles, are you still doing anything with the center, or the center?
Yeah,
okay.
we're
because you're doing the
slowly-
features.
We're doing the movie screenings, and we want to maybe do other stuff together. We're just in the process. Like we did the huge success with Rashid, and you know, we want to kind of maybe see where we can go that way. Maybe bring back comedy back, but yeah.
How come no live music?
It's a great question.
I'm curious because I see the way you love music, that you're doing the stuff with the movies, now doing the features, that you're a big movie buff. Like you were doing you were a critic, fuck, you were Siskel and Ebert like in high school.
Yeah, I'm also like I told you at the beginning of the show. There's 3 things I'm a junkie about. And it's movies, music, and comedy.
Yeah. So you have the comedy,
Yeah,
you have the
music.
movies now.
Well,
music.
What do you want to do something together?
I don't know. Let's figure it out sometime.
Let's figure it out. I know. I feel like you know a lot more bands. I know a few like I know a few local bands. Like I know you've had Chincy on here, and like Dom Carbone was in the Astral Gates, but he's also in House Light Hum.
Yeah, that's
the other band. I would need more. Yeah, we can figure something out for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would. You know, wow. You know what's fucked? I never thought of it. I actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
I've thought about putting on block parties.
Yes.
I thought of that.
Have you seen the Dave Chappelle block
Of
party?
course, that's where probably
I
my
have a
block
buddy of mine that
party-
was at that fucking block
Wow.
party. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, ask him. I'll introduce you to him one day.
Sure, yeah.
We'll go to doubles, me and him.
I would love that.
So we'll meet there. We'll have drinks and we'll talk about it. And dude, he talks about that event like it was fucking. It must have been amazing.
It must have been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But I would love to throw a block party where you can have music, you can have DJs, you can have. I would love I have this. This has been a brewing thing since the pandemic. Like this.
Okay.
like I used to go walking every day, and I would just think about these things. I'm like, shit. Once the pandemic is over,
fuck this pandemic.
yeah. I'm gonna be back. You know, I never thought about music. This is why we're here,
dude. It was like in my mind, I was like, how is he not talking about promoting some sort of music idea?
Yeah, I don't know. It would be really awesome to put on a local show that has a lot of these bands that we just mentioned, and other ones I'm sure you know of that I don't know of.
There's a scene all the time that happens because it's like when you watch, like let's say, obviously I was a big '90s fan, right? So like when I would see the bills of like, you had Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and like all like this era of like the Seattle vibe or whatever, that grunge era, or the LA fucking Sunset Boulevard era and all that stuff. And there was a scene where you would look at the bills and you were like, oh my God, all these bands are playing on this same street and they're playing the same fucking night, but no one knew them at the time, whatever it is. And there was this promoter that would fucking like really believed in the scene and built up this idea of like building the scene. Why do we have to wait for a scene to happen? Like build the scene. So
you're saying we could be those people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, dude.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to fucking talk about this. Like, there's so many good acts out there that why is no one organizing this?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think some of those bands are lazy?
I'm sure there's an element to that, for sure. I think
you know what I mean? Like, why hasn't no one? If you're that passionate, I'm not saying that I won't. I'm not saying they're lazy, by the way.
No. But I think it's like there's some people that have. I realize this. There's roles for everything. So like, the band, their main role is to entertain and to write music and to do all these things, whatever. So sometimes the idea of how to promote it and how to organize it is just not the priority. Kind of like,
Yeah,
they have other things.
They have other shit to worry about. Yeah, so which I agree.
When someone else is thinking it from the promotion side. You can't help but say, oh, how do we put this together? And sometimes the brain for other people just doesn't work that way because they're so focused on the band, on the music. And because I noticed when I was in a band, I didn't have the same brain of, like, I had ideas of promotion, but if you would have talked to me now versus back then, it would be two completely different people on promotion. But, dude.
Yeah, we are. And again, I want to reiterate the lazy thing. It's not so much that the bands are lazy, but that sometimes...
He's calling you lazy. He's fucking lazy.
Lazy. No, but it's more of like, I get what you're saying is that your brain is focused elsewhere. Some people just can't also take on all those things together.
And it's hard, man. It's not like a promotion, dude.
Talking about someone who used to host, sell tickets, fucking get talent, like... even
it's a
now,
hustle, man.
Yeah. Now the thing that I'm comfortable doing is that I know I love the spotlight. Okay, like I love, like, what we said, we love being behind the mic. Like if I'm okay if someone was like, hey, you want to go host this show, I'd be like, sure, done. I'll do it. Before every show that I do now, whether it's with Rashid, whether it's at doubles, whether it's at the center, wherever it may be, I always get my 2 minutes on stage before the show starts.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know. Yeah. It's me.
Yeah. But you're proud of it, dude. Like, I think there's people that they're looking at it, no, dude, I fucking work my ass off. And I want to say thank you for being here. Yeah. Fucking do a little bit of a 2-minute thing.
Now, that's also going back to my dad, like, just being in the back of my head all the time is like, doing that small 2-minute intro of like, it's nothing. I'm just going on stage, being charismatic, being charming and myself, and just being like, thank you for being here. I'm Gianni from Snob Media, by the way, in case you fucking gave a shit. Yeah. The reason why you're here is because you got my emails.
Yeah, I annoyed you. I annoyed you enough to get here.
You know what I mean? Like, you're all here. Like, thank you for being here. And that's all I do. And I walk off. I'm happy. And I'm strong at producing. I'm strong at getting lineups. Like, let's say, like, comedy wise, I know, like, when I have a lineup that I'm like, how did I even make this happen?
You're on fire mentally. You're just like
whether people know it or not.
The endorphins, dude, in your brain are just naturally like at a level that you people don't understand it when you're. And I've always said I feel bad for people that have never been passionate about something. Because when you're passionate about something, whatever it is, whether it's the comedy stuff, I remember music at a certain point, the podcast, when you're passionate about something and you're working at it, when it, like, you see like the finished products or whatever, you're just so happy. Like it's this proud of working on, like you're like a
And it
little
goes
kid
so
showing,
fast.
like your art or whatever it is. You just want like, mom, look at this. I'm so happy. When you're a kid, you're kind of like that. And I feel bad when someone has never experienced that passion for something that fire, that drive that you'll stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning to finish it.
You need that kick in the ass from like, oh, I sold 4 tickets this week. Yeah. Okay, you still have fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah,
What's
let's
your
go.
problem?
Let's go, man. We got to fucking get this done because you're like, this is the high, like you said, of seeing the room filled.
Oh man, there's nothing
understand.
like that. There's nothing like you peek your head and you're like, oh fuck, every seat's full.
That must be an amazing, and you know that you're part of this. Like you started this idea, and
I do this thing when we sell out shows, more like in venues, not at doubles and stuff, but I'll make the line outside and just wait. And just make it bigger. Just get it bigger.
There's nothing better than seeing a lineup
You're
outside.
like, wow, this is
that's marketing 101, man.
Yeah.
Like when you see a lineup of people
Yeah.
and they're excited to come in, 5 more minutes.
yeah. You're just waiting at the door. You're just sitting there. You're just like, no, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. 5 minutes to just like soak it in of
Yeah.
what's happening there. There's a lineup of people waiting to give their ticket to come watch the show.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's fuck. We have to do a music thing.
Yeah.
Now you see, now that's all I'm thinking about.
We got to do it. So how you want to end this?
I don't know, man. Why are you doing this podcast?
Why am I? You asking me a question to end
Well, I
it.
usually do the questioning. So I mean,
Why am I doing this podcast? I always found one. At the beginning, I thought it was like I want to do a show. Like I want to be behind the for me, right? And I love the idea of being on the mic and all that stuff and the host and having my show because it was like I finally have a place where I could just be me. The way I want, no fucking shoes, in my socks, in my house, like doing my thing. But I have to admit, as I keep doing it, I actually really enjoy the stories. The stories remind me of like, it kind of like, I guess there's a mix of like, I feed off the story from that person and it makes me, it reminds me, keep going. Because if you really like it, you see because every fucking week you're releasing an episode of someone that didn't think they could do it and do it. They didn't think this idea would turn into that, and it happens. They didn't have they had no business, and now they have this business. They had no music, and now they wrote an album. And so you see that journey, and I'm just like, okay, I'm on my journey. This is the show. The show that I want is happening every week. It's happening the way it's naturally, organically happening. People are kind of flocking to it now, and
I love that.
And it's something I've always wanted, but I didn't know I wanted it.
You're also
in this format.
You're also like showing off the talent, the local
well,
talent. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the thing. I didn't want. I remember even the trailer. I remember when I did the trailer for this. Is that I think it was something along the lines like Montreal's filled with all these interesting people, and we don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
And they're like right here on the street, but we're worried about some fucking clown in New York. It's like, who gives a fuck about that? Like, you realize how much is happening here, and we could support each other.
Yeah.
You know, like we can like. I'd rather come and watch. You know, I like Tom was doing a set last night at my buddy's restaurant Melrose.
Yeah.
So he was doing a set there. I'm gonna go watch Tom. Like I'm gonna go sit down. I'm gonna go watch him, support him. Another buddy, a past guest, he had a Sanka set, like a real estate networking event, and he's like, "You want to come by?" Yeah, I'll come by. You know, just to say hi. And it's like, let's support each other. Like, and then I had a buddy come. You know, want to meet some if you're interested in real estate. I have a few friends. Like, why not make these connections?
Yeah, why not?
And keep it within the community, like not in just the I mean Montreal community,
right?
Like everybody.
No, not the Italian community.
But it's like all the fucking communities.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's this idea of like the show was originally that, and then I was kind of excited. Oh my god, I have a mic.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh man, and even like dude, Matt Caruso as an example, he was in my band for a long time, and I had him on the show, and it's like I didn't even there was a whole other side of him I didn't even know.
Right.
And we got to meet like my friend again in a sense, you know? This is what the show has been doing. It's been a fucking awesome experience for me personally.
I need to, why did you call it Dead Man Walking?
That's a long story.
Okay.
It was actually brief. There was like a health scare.
Okay.
And then with that, I remember I looked at my girlfriend and I said, I feel like, am I just like a dead man walking?
All right.
And it was like, and then I said, if I get through this is if I have that show one day, because the idea of that name came out in 2019.
Okay.
And then I only launched the show 2023. I just didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't have the balls to do it. Like I was just like, who's gonna listen? Who's gonna care? But that name came from a health scare.
Hey, here's another question for you.
Yeah.
What kicked you in the ass to finally do the podcast?
And my daughter.
Really?
Yeah.
She said, "Fuck you."
She said, "Hey, you pussy ass motherfucker,
"Pussy ass bitch, dad."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, how can I? You know, it's funny. I said, how can I tell someone do things you're not afraid of and do what you really want to do in life, and I'm not gonna do it. I like the actions always speak louder than words. So I'm like, if I say that this is something I always wanted to do, and I didn't do it, well, what kind of a role model am I trying to be here? You know, like,
Yeah.
it's not. You don't have to do what I do, or you don't have to be an accountant. You don't have to be like. You just got to do what you want to do, and with that, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out, but you have to at least try. And so I said, well, if I'm gonna tell her this,
Gotta fucking
how
do
can
it.
I fucking not do it?
Yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah.
This is it's a lovely, and I think I haven't been on a podcast in a while, and it's nice to again be behind the mic, to be the guest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool. What's your favorite movie?
What's my favorite movie?
Well, which is like, I always say favorite, but like it's just the one that you're thinking of that comes to your head first.
You know, depends on the day, but I know for me, definitely Terminator 2 was one of those movies.
See, that's something you don't expect.
The Terminator 2 for me, I watched that movie, I think, a billion times. Yeah. I'd say between that and Back to the Future are probably my two, like,
amazing.
The ones, if they're on, Die Hard 2.
Oh, now dude, you just switched the whole thing.
Yeah, the Die Hard 2, if that comes on.
It's on. It's actually
5 minutes or last 5 minutes of the movie, I have to watch it. Like, I have to complete it. At Christmas time, dude, don't fuck around. Die Hard, it has to happen.
It has to happen.
It has to happen.
I agree with that.
Gianni, that's it, man.
Yeah.
So how do you want to end this now?
How do I want to end this? I mean, we got shows. Follow Snob Media on Instagram, Facebook, and send me a DM, and we're all around. I mean, this was really fun. I appreciate the time. I like telling the story because I kind of remember where the fuck I am now.
Yeah.
Compared to where I was in 2018, trying to figure out how to put on a comedy show. But now I'm like, things happen in life. Like I said, things are just kind of organically happening this last year and this last few months, actually, not in the last year. And it's nice to be recognized for the work that you do, because you never think of it yourself. You never say, "Oh, I did good."
Yeah.
You never say that.
You never sit back and actually.
I can tell you I never think about that.
You know, it's funny you say that because a lot of guests have told me that they're like, after the show, they're like, Stef, I never actually thought about everything that I had done from when I started this idea. I never sat down and
I only think about it when I do things like this.
Yeah.
Or like, even if your parents or your friends or your family tell you, oh, think about what you've done.
Yeah, you don't sit down and do it.
It goes in one ear, not the other. I'm like, I'm gonna go watch TV now.
Thank you. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, like it's something that really gets. It makes something like this what you're doing makes me want to do other stuff. Kind of like how now you're mentioning doing a music thing. Like now that's as soon as I leave here, starting a new notepad. Amazing. Okay, this is what I have to do, and I have to get all these bands together and figure out where the fuck to play.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes it's just that one spark. Yeah. It's something that, and then it just opens up a whole world. You have no clue where this is going to go in 2 years from now.
No idea.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
That's the part that I realize now that I like most is like, this idea sounds good. Let's just fuck around. Let's see where this goes. If it goes nowhere, it goes nowhere. Yeah. But if I don't try putting shit together, dude, it's never going to happen anyways.
What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And the thing too is like, at a certain point, it's not about the money.
If you started with the money, it's not going to work. Yeah. It's not going to work, dude.
And that's literally how I started everything, was just I never thought about the money because I was like, there's no money.
No, there's no money.
There's no money. And that's how you kind of create money.
Yeah.
Or you have people that sponsor you. You have people that are like, oh, I like what you're doing. Here's money.
Because it's a breath of fresh air to see someone give a shit.
Yeah.
Like just doing it because they actually want to do it.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, oh, I'll sponsor it, and automatically like, okay, and then whatever, you build it on top of that, but you didn't have the intention of the sponsorship from day one.
No, I'm doing this. Yeah, okay, you're gonna invest money, you're gonna do things, you're gonna get other people involved, you're gonna do it. You want it, you have to delegate, like we discussed earlier.
Fucking delegate.
Fucking delegate. And in the end, what makes you feel
Yeah.
good is, realizing moments like this where you're like, okay, you've done quite a bit, bro. Like maybe stop being shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, this is deep. She said.
That's it. I think we can't end it any other way right now. That was perfect.
That's
That's what she said line. Johnny, man, thank you so much for being on the show.
This has been great. This is a great format, and you're a great fucking host. You're a great host.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're a great fucking guest, man.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. That's it, dude.
All right, amazing.
That's it.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna go home and cry.
Hey, thanks for checking out the show. It's been awesome working on this project. And if you like it, tell a friend. And if you want to support the show, you can by 1, subscribing and liking our YouTube channel at the DMW Podcast. 2, you can go to our website and sign up to our mailing list at the DMWpodcast.com. And 3, you can follow us on Instagram at the DMW Podcast. Thanks again for all of your support. My name is Stef, and this is the Dead Man Walking Podcast.